We're going to start out our dragon eye drawing with a lid so that we can trace the circle. Draw light with your pencil and create 2 dots on each side of that circle. Connect the 2 dots with a curved line on one side and the other. Notice that I cover up a little bit of that circle. Then erase the parts that are outside of your eyelid, and then you can start adding the details. I'm going to add the pupil inside the iris, and you can make this any shape. I made mine the typical curved line of a reptile. Then I'm going to add the eyelids and then start adding the shapes that attach to the eyelids. I'm going to make a scalloped line all the way around. That's this bumpy line that will be like scales. And again, this can be any type of shape that's going to repeat over and over again to the edge of your paper. I'm going to keep adding these scale shapes, and notice that these have changed slightly. They're bigger and they have rounded edges that make them a little more like a rectangle instead of that scalloped curve shape. So this is where you can fill up a lot of your paper by making the scale shape even bigger. Keep adding those layers of scales all the way around. This does not have to be perfectly symmetrical shapes, and they do not have to be the same. Remember, they're organic, so they can vary in size and shape and texture. To fill up the outside edges of my eye so that I am going all the way to the edge of my paper, now I'm simply adding some more little scallop lines and just some circles or ovals. And these, again, are very organic. They are not perfect in shape, and that just fills up my paper and adds a variety to the outside of my dragon eye. Going until you have filled up your entire sheet of paper with textures, lines, and shapes, and then it will be time to trace with Sharpie. And when you get ready to trace, I'm going to use a variety of thicknesses of markers. I'm using a thicker black bold Sharpie, as well as a thin line and a fine point Sharpie. The variety of the thicknesses of lines, so some thinner, some thicker, will give your dragon eye a lot of interest. I'm also using just a plain Crayola marker. It does not have to be a permanent marker for this because we are going to be using oil pastels to color. One more thing I want you to notice is that I added some reflections. There are just triangular shapes in the iris of the eye, but I did not trace those with a black line. Now, as you start to color, I'm using oil pastels because they blend so beautifully together. I'm going to lay in at least 3 colors in every scale. It does not have to be perfect, but that variety of colors, those 3 colors, will create value in your artwork. It will give that gradation of color that brings your artwork to life. So, I'm going to start out at the top of my paper. The reason I'm doing that is because oil pastels will smudge very easily. So if I start at the top, I'm not going back on top of the work that's at the bottom, and if there are oil pastels at the bottom, I'll always be dragging my hand through them. So I start at the top so that I can work my way down. Also, it helps to work from the outside to the inside. I am going to work on the outside of the eye before I do the inside. That will be my last step. That keeps my eye from getting too smudgy and getting fingerprints everywhere. Now I'm going to start laying in my second and third colors. Again, I'm still working at just the top of my paper and working on those textures first. I am doing a combination of colors that are not really analogous close together, but they do create visual interest. So you can choose those colors as you like, whatever you feel would make your dragon eye look the best. Once I finish with the top half of my dragon eye, then I am going to work on the eyelid and skip over to the bottom half. Remember I said that I'm going to leave the iris and the inside of the eye for very last. I am going to blend the two colors, that purple and blue, together with a lighter purple. It's a lavender. Lighter colors are always really great for the blending step, if that is what you are going to do. Okay, now I'm going to continue laying in the colors, again using 3 colors to blend together and create value on the bottom half of my dragon eye. Okay, now that I have finished laying in all the color on the bottom half of my dragon eye, it's time to move to the eye socket, the inside of the iris, the pupil, and any color that I'm going to put around there. I am going to start with a black. You want to put black on the outside edge and work your way in. If you are using black, use your darkest color first. Now I'm doing this kind of in horizontal lines that spike towards the center of the eye. This is going to make that eye look rounded and make it look more three-dimensional. Then I'm going to layer in some red on my eye, and this is the colorful part of the eye, so I want the colors to be kind of spiky and to blend towards the pupil, which is the black part of that eye. To match some of the whimsical colors of my scales, I'm going to layer in some pink as well. Black and red might be typical colors that you would think of for a dragon eye, so I'm going to spice it up with just a little bit of pink. I'm going to finish off the iris of the eye by layering in my lightest color, which is going to be yellow. It's okay if this falls over into where the pupil will be. Notice that I went around my highlights, the white highlights on my eye. This is very important to make your eye look shiny and glassy. So leave those and don't trace them or color over them, because they will help to create realism when you are creating this eye. I finally add that black over the pupil to color it in, and now I'm going to work on the outside of the eye, and this will just be one solid color for me, but you can create any kind of colors that you like. I'm going to layer in a little bit of that pink on the outside as well to create some value. Again, just blending this together, and it makes the eye look a little more rounded, a little more realistic. To finish off this awesome drawing, I'm going to go back and fill in any spaces that were not filled in. I'm going to blend together colors using a little bit of white on a few scales, as well as adding some shadows with black if I need to, going back in and adding those eyelashes that I wanted to. But any last minute touches that you need to add, now you can do that, because you have an awesome dragon eye. Can't wait to see what you create, guys.